communications with the financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein than previously publicly known. According to documents released on Friday by the Department of Justice, emails in the files appear to show the two cordially messaging each other on two separate occasions to make plans for Musk to visit Epstein's island. The documents include Musk and Epstein emailing in both 2012 and 2013 to determine when Musk should make the trip to Little St. James. Neither exchanges appear to have resulted in Musk visiting the island due to logistical issues. Anand Singh is back with me. Anand, what more can you tell us about these latest details emerging? Anand, am I audible to you? All right, viewers, we'll try and reconnect with my colleague Anand. But now Elon Musk has more extensive and more friendly communications with the financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein that previously publicly known, according to documents released on Friday by the Department of Justice. Emails in the files appear to show the two cordially messaging each other on two separate occasions to make plans for Musk to visit Epstein's island. And these documents include Musk and Epstein emailing in both 2012 and 2013 to determine when Musk should make the trip to Little St. James. Neither exchanges appear to have resulted in Musk visiting the island due to logistical issues. So that, of course, is the latest that is emerging, viewers. And as I was telling you earlier, this case has shocked everyone and surprised us on a regular basis with the kind of details that are emerging in the Jeffrey Epstein case. The biggest scandal perhaps in the most recent years that has come about in the United States, and it continues to shock one and all globally as well. Rumi Mishra is joining me with more details. Over to you, Rumi.
Yes, Vaishali, the U.S. Justice Department has released several records on Jeffrey Epstein from its investigative files. The latest development resumes disclosures on what the administration knew about Epstein's sexual abuse on alleged sexual abuse on young girls and his links to the rich and powerful. Among them, of course, includes U.S. President Donald Trump and one of his predecessors, Bill Clinton. Now, apparently, new emails have emerged, also putting Elon Musk into the spotlight. Tech billionaire Elon Musk seemed to want to visit Jeffrey Epstein's Caribbean island. Documents released by the DOJ has now confirmed. The billionaire previously claimed that he rebuffed attempts from Epstein to get him to visit to one of the two islands Epstein owned, Great St. James and Little St. James, in the two U.S. Virgin Islands near the British Virgin Islands. Little St. James was an epicenter of Epstein's decade-long abuse of young girls and women. However, an email now states that Epstein responded 2 days later to Musk's confirmation that he was going to also visit the islands, and Epstein stated that the beginning of the new year would be good, adding always space for you. Musk first responded that he needed to fly back to Los Angeles on the night of January 2 before stating that he could push his departure back a day. So yes, there's a back and forth between these two regarding Musk's presence at the Little St. James Island. However, it is not clear from the emails whether Musk ultimately visited or he cancelled the visit. The email showed a level of communication between the pair that had not been previously revealed and came despite Musk's attempts to denigrate his opponents by trying to tie them to Epstein. So all these developments that have been coming so far, Vaishali, are very revealing and of course explosive confirmations by the U.S. Department of Justice. Over to you, Vaishali.
All right, thanks for joining me. Now, new documents suggest that Prince Andrew, also known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, attended an intimate party with Jeffrey Epstein several months after Epstein was released from prison following his conviction for sexual offenses. The files raise questions about the extent of Andrew's association with the convicted sex offender. I have Anand Singh joining me with more details. Anand, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, look, the name of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor also came up in this file. It has been mentioned that he attended an intimate party with Epstein months after the convicted sex offender was released from prison. These are the details that the file has suggested that has emerged now. So clearly, it names Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. That's how he attended the party, an intimate party with Epstein months after he was released from the prison. Back to you, Ashant.
All right, Anand, stay on with me. Now, Howard Lutnick, the billionaire businessman who serves as President Trump's Commerce Secretary, once planned a trip to Jeffrey Epstein's private island, according to documents that the Justice Department released on Friday. The planned visit in 2012 came years after Mr. Lutnick has said he severed ties with Mr. Epstein. In December 2012, the records show Mr. Lutnick sent an email to Mr. Epstein saying that he had a group of people, including his wife and children and another family, who were visiting the Caribbean. He asked where Mr. Epstein was located and whether they could visit for a meal. Mr. Epstein replied through an assistant to give more information about the location of Little Street James, his private island off the coast of St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. They eventually settled on plans for a lunch gathering. Anand, what more can you tell us about these new details? We seem to have lost the line there. But of course, viewers, we'll try and reconnect with my colleague. But of course, we're telling you about Howard Lutnick, the businessman who's a billionaire and who serves as President Trump's Commerce Secretary, once planned a trip to Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Monica is joining me with more details. Monica, what more can you tell us?
As you know, the planned visit in 2012 came years after Mr. Lutnick had said that he had severed ties with Mr. Epstein, and in the new Epstein files, there were emails from conversations between Mr. Lutnick and Epstein from 2012 and 2013. Back to you.
All right, thanks for those details. Now, several mails suggested Epstein connected Steve Tisch, 76 producer of the movies Forrest Gump and Risky Business and the co-owner of the New York Giants football team, with multiple women. In one exchange with Tisch, Epstein describes a woman as Russian and rarely tells the full truth, but talks about fun. So this is, of course, viewers, the latest that we're getting you. And several emails, viewers, have suggested that Epstein connected with Steve Tisch, who is 76 years old and is a producer of movies like Forrest Gump and Risky Business, very well-known films, and films that did really well at the box office. And he's also the co-owner of the New York Giants football team. And in one exchange with Tisch, Epstein described a woman as Russian and talks about fun that he had with her. Arzu Seth is joining me with more details. Arzu, what more can you tell us? All right, viewers. So this, of course, we're telling you about all of these new details since morning that are emerging in the Epstein case, viewers, and how shocking are these developments. Jeffrey Epstein's alleged co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, once sent a message to an email address associated with former President Clinton that complimented the size of the recipient's genitals. According to a Trump administration official who's familiar with the email released in the latest batch of Epstein files, it's unclear whether Maxwell was writing to Clinton or an aide who used the ex-president's account and whose name was redacted. Clinton for years has denied using email and repeatedly was referenced in the third person in emails sent from the account. So this is another detail that I'm sharing with you viewers which has emerged, and it's rather shocking. Jeffrey Epstein's alleged co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell once sent a message to an email address associated with former President Clinton that complemented the size of the recipient's genitals. According to a Trump administration official familiar with the email released in the latest batch of Epstein files. I have Arzu Seth joining me with more details. Arzu, what more can you tell us?
Friendly mail sent to Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell in 2002 was signed Love Melania, with Maxwell replying to calling the sender Sweet Pie with the redactions prevent a definitive confirmation that the message was written by Melania Trump. The two women were photographed together just over 2 weeks later, adding to questions around the correspondence. So definitely, redactions make it possible to prove that the sender was the future First Lady, but those two women were photographed together just over 2 weeks later. Yes.
All right, Arzu, stay on with me. Now, files reveal a 2002 email to Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell signed Love Melania. In response, Maxwell called the sender Sweet Pea. Redactions make it impossible to confirm if the sender was the future First Lady, but photos show that the two women were together just over 2 weeks later. Arzu, back to you on this.
Well, yes, as I earlier mentioned, one friendly mail to Epstein's compliance, the Maxwell in 2002 was signed Love and Melania. In reply, Maxwell called her correspondent Sweet Pie. Redactions make it impossible to prove that the sender was the future First Lady, but those two women were photographed together just 2 weeks later. Yes.